What's going down, y'all? It's Wednesday, April the 27th, 2022, and it's your boy Ray G, one half of the Wake Up Crew, here to talk some NBA prop bets over on PrizePicks. Go download the app, sign up on the website, use the promo code WAKEUP, and PrizePicks will give you $100 for first-time depositors if you put in $100. So you want free money, use the promo code WAKEUP, get you some money, play some of these NBA prop bets. Tonight we have Golden State versus Denver and Chicago versus Milwaukee. Could be closeout games for both of these teams. Do or die. Are the stars going to be stars? We will see. We know that Chicago will be down Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso, so this will impact some of the props today. A quick recap over the picks that we talked about yesterday on the channel. Shout out to Jay Rich, who talked about taking the under on Trae Young's assist total. That cash. Jimmy Butler, we talked about him quite a bit. He was ruled out, knee inflammation. They replaced the taco on PrizePicks. Discounted prop on Anthony Edwards. Told you in the YouTube comments, you got to come back about an hour to tip off. Check the YouTube comments after I run the fantasy score, because that's what I like to participate in. That's what I like to play. And we said, make sure you take the over Anthony Edwards point total of 19.5. That cashed, and unfortunately, PJ Tucker did not. PJ Tucker's over 15.5 par did not come to fruition. But if you came back, you checked the comments, I did tell you to take the under on Jaren Jackson's first half fantasy score. That cashed. Talked about Ja Morant, under 24.5 fantasy score for the first half. That pushed. And what was interesting about that is it was set at 24.5, and then about like 40 minutes until tip-off time, PrizePicks dropped that number to 24. If you took it at 24, it was a bad beat because he hit 24.5 on the dot. And then CJ McCollum, they royally screwed us with that one. I said take the over. His first half fantasy score was set at 20.5. He hit it. First half goes 20.6. CJ McCollum, I'm happy. I went to bed excited, woke up, checked it, and they stat corrected him down to 19.8. Bad beats. We've had a history, a long string of bad beats over the past couple of days, but we ran the data. We have some fantasy score plays that I'm going to talk about today that we're going to get into right now.
For all the high-flying action, take a step back and relax. It's time to count that money, the NBA props. No look any further. You know what time it is. Presented by PrizePicks, NBA props. Let's
count that money, man. All right, let's pull it up and see where we want to go for the slate tonight on the fantasy score. Listen, I'm just going to talk about Grayson Allen for a minute because over his last 5 games in the first half, he is averaging 15.9 fantasy score. And in this series versus Chicago, especially the past 2 games without Chris Middleton, he has come out firing, 26.2 and then 26 in the first game without Chris Middleton. I do not think this trend is going to stop. Chicago, I don't see it happening. No Alex Caruso, no Zach LaVine. They're going to put all their attention to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Grayson Allen should cash this in the first half. I like the over on Grayson Allen's fantasy score, and when you look at what Grayson Allen has been doing in the first half during this series versus Chicago, he's averaging about 13.1 minutes, 8 points, 2.3 rebounds, a little under half an assist. He's averaging a steal and half a block per game in the first half in this series. All he's got to do is continue his average throughout this series, in this 9.5 fantasy score for Grayson Allen in the first half should be good money. I like it. I'm rolling with it. It's going to be one of my core plays. Grayson Allen over 9.5 fantasy score in the first half. Also want to talk about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole had probably his worst game in his young career in the playoffs. Last game versus Denver. What is the likelihood of Jordan Poole doing this again at home? I think slim to none. Throughout the series, he has cashed this, not 1, not 2, but 3 times. It was up until this final game where he did not go over 15 fantasy score in the first half. Per our model, Jordan Poole is playing about 17.6 first half minutes. And if he does that, based on all of the other projections that we've run, his fantasy score should come out right at about 19.2. So you're getting about 4.2 points of edge on the fantasy score projection versus his prop here on PrizePicks. So I am personally in on Jordan Poole's fantasy score. And I'm telling you right now, the model liked Jordan Poole a lot. Liked his assist total over 3.5. highly consider taking his assist over 3.5, and like the point total over 19.5 points for Jordan Poole. I do not anticipate him having back-to-back bad games. So Golden State gets it done. They close out Denver at home in this one, and I like Jordan Poole to go over 15 fantasy score in the first half of that matchup. And I'm going to stick to this one. I'm going to stick to this first half because I want to talk about Nikola Jokic, right? Probably the NBA MVP this year. Jokic's fantasy score in the first half is set at 28. You can see over his last 5, he's averaging 32. And in this series, he has hit this number in his last 3 games. The only time he didn't hit it was the first game of the series, and he was just half a point underneath the 28-point total. He's got to get it done. I mean, this is going to be a big Joker game. Per our model, we liked his over everything, over points, over assists, over rebounds, and we saw him come out in the last game absolutely on fire. Seems like what Golden State is doing is saying everybody else can beat us. Joker can get his, but we're not going to let anybody else get off. And he's doing it, man. He's scoring a bunch of points in the first quarter. He's good for a couple of rebounds, good for some assists. And the good thing is what I wanted to check was his turnovers, because you lose 1 point per turnover. And Joker's been getting turned over quite a bit as the games wear on, but he's only averaging 1 turnover in the first half of this series versus Golden State, which makes me feel a little bit better. And remember, in fantasy score, a rebound is worth 1.2 and an assist is worth 1.5. So while this number is quite high, I'm staying in the Flames. I'm sticking with the trend. He's hit this number in his last 3 games. I'm going to say Nikola Jokic goes over his first half fantasy score. If you're a little weary on that, don't want to take it, I understand, I get it. If you want to target his points, I wouldn't mind that either. His overall points, not first half points. But 3 of the plays that I really like: Grayson Allen over his first half fantasy score, Jordan Poole over his first half fantasy score, and Nikola Jokic to go over 28 first half fantasy score. Those are the numbers that I've run. As always, this is data-driven analysis. Make sure you tap back in. Sometimes we find a couple of additional plays to put into the lineup for PrizePicks, and sometimes we don't. But just check back in. Comment, let us know what you're thinking about playing today, where you want to go with some of these games tonight. I know a lot of people are thinking about Chicago and DeMar DeRozan. I'll just throw one more out there. It is not the day to play. The data is saying take the under, but I really, really like Patrick Williams, his fantasy score in the first half. Right now it's set at 12. No Zach LaVine. Patrick Williams very active in that department, rebounding, scoring, not really diming, but playing tough defense. Might throw Patrick Williams in on some YOLO flex plays later on, but Grayson Allen, Nikola Jokic, and Jordan Poole will be my core 3 for some mix and match stuff over on PrizePicks. I appreciate you tapping in. Subscribe, like the content, comment, let us know what you're rolling with. And as always, these are data-driven picks. So if you tail, give them hail. And if we fail, do not bail. We'll be back tomorrow with more NBA picks. Good luck. We out. Peace.
For all the high-flying action, take a step back and relax. It's time to count that money, the NBA props. No look any further. You know what time it is. Presented by PrizePicks, NBA props. Let's
count that money, man.